This is Morning Express. It's time for State of the Nation. I'll go straight to introducing the panel this morning. To my extreme left, we have Martin Oloo, who is a political analyst. Thank you for joining us this morning. Exactly. Next to him, we have Honorable Peter Kaluma, who is the MP for Homabay. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
And last but not least, we have Irungu Kang'ata, who is the MP for Kiharo. Welcome.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on State of the Nation this morning, where we'll put our pulse on what's happening in the nation. And of course, what has been on the headlines for the last 2 weeks or so has been to do with the judiciary, which is a matter of concern, especially given that we're just approaching 2017, and that is one of the arms of government that we'd expect to be super efficient and with no reproach whatsoever. But just as a refresher of what has been happening, this is to do with the judiciary and what we have been going through as a country. Let's just play back what has been going on. All right, I'm told that that's not ready, but let me start with you, Honorable Peter Kaluma, MP for Homabay, on where we are as a country, given that the judiciary, which is meant to be the arm of government that gives us justice and is supposed to make us feel that you may not aggrieve me in an unfair way, is also now under scrutiny.
Obviously, it is a disappointing situation. I wanted to say that in 2010, we came up with a new constitution, and if all our people will remember, we created another tier of the judiciary in the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is actually, at the uppermost level of the judiciary, the very last court of, or the court of last resort. We made the Chief Justice the president of the Supreme Court, in addition to being the head of the judiciary. Now, the claims which have been coming about concern, corruption in the judiciary at the level of the Supreme Court on the matter of election petitions. And by the way, my view is that it becomes a very, very serious thing, because it speaks to the electoral systems. If all people will remember, it is the Supreme Court that resolves disputes relating to presidential, petitions or elections. We have a situation where it is being claimed, I don't know whether it will be established, that one judge in the judiciary was given up to 200 million, Kenya shillings to compromise, the decision concerning the governor's election for Nairobi. Mm-hmm. I do not want to go into the details, because I hear the Judicial Service Commission has created a committee that is, investigating the matter.
That is fact.
Yes, but I wanted to say two things. One, I doubt it should be the Judicial Service Commission investigating, this matter, because if you remember, up to about 4 or 5, members of the Judicial Service Commission were involved as judges with this case we are talking about, in one way or the other. Number two, the Judicial Service Commission deals with matters of discipline of judicial officers. When a judge is bribed, and ultimately what we know is that it is a matter of integrity, it is a matter of ethics. It should be a matter that is investigated by a body separate from the Judicial Service Commission. So the best case scenario would have been that, this matter is investigated by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, or our police's, Criminal Investigations Department. So that I doubt, the credibility of the report that will come from the so-called committee of the Judicial Service Commission investigating this thing, because it is Judicial Service Commission, investigating a member of the judiciary, but on a matter touching on several other people who are members of the Judicial Service Commission. Mm-hmm. But at the second level, we must know that when you have a decision being made by more than one judge, a bench of judges as we call it in legal parlance, then really the majority of them must speak in one voice for the decision to be decided either way. So that again, the thinking that is going through my head as a lawyer is, if it can be established that that judge was actually, bribed, and really this single judge was a mere conduit for several other judges, either all of them or a majority of them. Remember, this is a decision that was unanimous in terms of the numbers there.
So although we really don't have evidence or proof that this money may not, if at all, it was given.
Yes, that is why I'm saying, if it is established the money was given, then we can only be certain it was not money given for use by that single individual judge.
How would we be
but I'm saying if established, let us establish.
Yes, but if it was established that it was given, how would we know that it was shared out unless investigations are done?
The logic is very simple.
Okay.
Let me finish. That a minimum of 5 members or judges in the Supreme Court sit to make a decision on a matter. You cannot bribe Kaluma without securing the majority to decide in your favor. That is the logical argument I'm bringing out. So that somebody seeking to bribe the Supreme Court at that level would not be seeking to bribe one judge, but the majority of them sitting to decide that matter. That is the only way they would succeed. But I wanted to end by saying, Mike, if you would permit, that, public confidence in the judiciary has deteriorated so much following this accusation. The court is an institution we've always said should be as clean as Caesar's wife. And I'm saying that even failure to establish, whether or not the judges in the Supreme Court were bribed in this particular instance should not be an excuse for them to remain. I wanted personally to say that all judges of the Supreme Court, led by the President of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice himself, be cognizant of the fact and in fact the need to sustain public confidence in the judiciary, should lead the pack in leaving the judiciary so that we reconstitute that court.
Okay.
But I will not go into the investigation.
All right, let's go.
If we let these views remain, then we are going down the wrong road. Number one,